The survival state isn't fully realizing you didn't get to protect yourself in the way you needed to, whatever capacity that is, you get stuckness. So we need that completion. These issues that you're dealing with are created by some type of disconnection, some type of experience in your past that was painful, emotionally charged, or shocking enough to your brain and your body that maybe it was a novel experience, like it was new and you had never experienced something like this before. And it created an emotion that was really strong or unpleasant that you weren't able to fully complete or fully process in the moment. And because of that emotion, the feeling that you weren't able to complete, meaning process, essentially what it's quote unquote, it gets stuck in your brain and your body. It's like this nervous system, like this stuckness. And when you get stuck like that, when a process isn't fully realized, meaning the brain needs to complete the process of emotional, like any kind of memory or an experience. So when you don't process it, you get stuck essentially. And so what does stuck mean? Well, stuckness means you're whole when you're born. You're like a puzzle all put together, and you're like this whole puzzle, this amazing puzzle. And when experiences like that happen, you get fragmented and you break off into all these different pieces of puzzles. And all these different pieces of puzzles if you look at it, like each puzzle piece has different aspects to it. It has its own behaviors, its own emotions, its own fears, its own desires, its own needs, its own thoughts and concepts and stories and predictions about the world. Every single one of your fragmented pieces. So this happens, you break off into these pieces every time you have experiences like this, because your brain says this is a very important experience because Annabelle was so like freaked out or happy or whatever it is. And sometimes experiences are like happy and you remember them and you never want to forget them. Your brain says, I want to remember that for the rest of my life. That was so important. And so what happens is your brain stores that in what's called implicit memory. And it says, we don't want to forget this because it was important, good or bad, but important, safe or threatening. We need to remember it. And it's very important. So those fragmented pieces, now they each have all those traits, but they also have this stuckness. And the stuckness means that they are stuck in that emotion that didn't get to be completed. Remember, every emotion needs to be processed, logically understood, and there needs to be some like resolution to it. Everything, relationships, issues, problems, story, everything. We want resolution. The brain needs completion. It needs it to feel safe and sane. Otherwise, it feels threatened and a little kook. Okay. And I don't mean, I say that very genuinely, like, and in a kind way. I don't mean it to be like I'm talking crap. Like that's literally what happens. So we need that completion. And when there isn't a completion, when the survival state isn't fully realizing you didn't get to protect yourself in the way you needed to, whatever capacity that is, in a relationship, you didn't get an explanation about why someone cheated on you. If you were hurt, you didn't get an explanation about why that happened. If you were abused and you didn't understand why. If someone died and you didn't get to say goodbye, like those things you get stuckness. So you need to process them.